You've seen a Subterra bitch, but now it's time for you to meet a geologic goddess. Hi there, I'm Terra, the geologic goddess of Jump City, but you can just call me Season 2's winner. The crown looks so good on a blonde queen, and why change that? I'm an actress and a stunt queen. I've been doing drag for years, and I host a lot of events around Jump City. Now it's time for me to bring the title home to my adoring fans. Oh wow, first queen in the workroom, it's good to see that Pegasus hasn't lost his sense of taste. If I say that the next bitch who walks in is going to be ugly, does that mean she'll win the season?
Did somebody order a witch doctor?
Oh wow, Aku is an icon in the ballroom scene, and my former drag sister Robin has mentioned him a few times. I'm curious to see how he will do this season.
I'm Aku, the witch doctor of drag and a staple in Neon City's ballroom scene. I own the face category and no bitch can step to this mug. I bring the avant-garde to ballroom, and I intend to bring that same energy to Toon World.
Aku floats over to Terra, who greets him warmly. Aku praises Terra's earthen, somewhat rugged drag style, and Terra offers Aku similar praise for his entrance look. Aku asks if Raven is Terra's drag sister, and Terra states that Raven is more of an ex-drag sister. Before Aku can inquire any further, the next queen walks into the workroom.
Hey there, sugars. Is that your tuck? Or are y'all just happy to see little old me? You're seeing it here, live. Toon World's first Marvel diva is on the scene and ready to snatch the crown. I'm Rogue, the X-Men's Southern Belle. I'm a pageant queen, and no one is ready for my Bayou glamour. Unlike Emma Frost, I'm not going to be in anyone's shadow, even Cynthia's.
Aku and Terra stand, slightly gagged as they're approached by Rogue, who greets them with a hug and says that she's really excited to be season sisters. Aku cheers, returning the sentiment, before adding that he's disappointed he's no longer the beauty queen in the room. Rogue says she's pretty sure that Aku has never been the beauty queen in any room he's entered, which gags Aku and makes Terra laugh.
Ooh, the shade is already jaw deep this season. But if that backwoods Barbie thinks some lukewarm banter is going to rile me up, then she's got another thing coming. If she wants to get cute, she'll suffer the wrath of my strongest curse. Trust.
Fresh from the top of the bell tower, this diva's here to ring in the new season.
Is that Esmeralda's drag sister? Well, judging from how she did last season, I guess Untucked needs another host. But somehow, I don't think he'll be here long enough to fill the role. Good entrance look, though. That pig nose is fierce.
Hey everyone, I'm Quasimodo, the hunchback of Notre Dame, Esmeralda's drag sister, and the hands behind a lot of her more elaborate looks and set pieces. Design and stagecraft might be my primary lines of work, but that doesn't make me any less of a drag queen. I am a performer, and no one should doubt that for a second.
The queens all greet Quasimodo warmly, although Terra is the only one to offer him a hug and introduce herself. Aku and Rogue exchange a long look, and Aku eventually shares his name and asks Quasimodo about his drag background. Quasimodo replies that he's been doing drag for several years, but has found more success working as a designer and general crafter for most of the queens in his local scene, adding that he even designed a few of the runways that some of the other Disney queens have worn on their seasons. Rogue laughs, stating that she can see why Quasimodo prefers to remain behind the scenes, and Quasimodo claps back that he can see why Emma and Storm were cast on a season long before she was. A tense moment follows, which is only broken by the next queen entering the room.
Look no further because your winner has arrived. Trust me, I'm a psychic. Type.
The look is gorgeous, but if he considers himself a comedy queen, then he's definitely going home first.
I'm Deoxys. I'm 1,000 years old and from deep space. I'm also 37 and from Hoenn. I like to call myself the alien superstar of Pokemon. My drag is a lovely blend of avant-garde cosmic horror and runway model fashion. My drag tends to be very provocative, and I love inverting traditional gender expectations. I think you're going to eat up what I bring to this season. Watch and see.
Deoxys glides into the center of the workroom, receiving applause and cheers from everyone except Rogue, who is still cringing from Deoxys's entrance line. Quasimodo and Terra quickly approach Deoxys, with Quasimodo complimenting his entrance look and asking what inspired it. Deoxys replies that he was going for Naomi Campbell got abducted by gay aliens that made her even more supernaturally stunning, sort of vibe. Terra and Quasimodo stare at Deoxys for a moment, processing the Queen's explanation before Terra starts to laugh. Rogue frowns at the exchange, standing at a distance with Aku as the other queens continue to chat.
Oh, great. Another queen who calls ugly makeup and poorly constructed outfits conceptual and avant-garde. Baby, I'm so sick of it. Where are your pads? What is that dumbass costume? If their drag is supposed to be futuristic, then sugar, the future is bleak.
Who's ready to take a walk on the dark side? I'm Asajj Ventress, the Dark Lady of the Galaxy, and I'm here to do what Senator Amidala couldn't and prove that Star Wars drag is still on top. My drag is very gothic, sleek, high fashion, and a little dangerous. I like combining the polish of high glamour with the fierceness of a savage warrior queen, and I'm going to bring a level of skill to this competition that none of these bitches are ready for.
Ventress strides into the workroom amidst cheers from the other queens, and even Rogue looks intrigued by her entrance. Terra asks Ventress how it feels being the second Star Wars queen to ever appear on a cartoon drag race franchise, and Ventress replies that she likes to consider herself the first because that other queen wasn't really memorable. Terra laughs before Quasimodo chimes in, asking if Ventress makes her own outfits because he really loves her entrance look and would love to know what sets her drag apart. Ventress looks Quasimodo up and down, an expression of disgust on her face as she replies that her edge, grit, and glamour distinguish her drag, adding that she sewed her garment and made most of what she brought to the competition. Quasimodo nods, stating that he looks forward to seeing what Ventress shows on the season, and Ventress returns the sentiment through gritted teeth.
Where does that beastly little creature get off in questioning my skills when he showed up looking like that? I hope the first challenge has an elimination because he's already getting on my nerves.
Rogue opens her mouth to ask Ventress a question when Deoxys cuts in, pointing around the room and stating that it looks like some of the workstations are already taken. Aku and Terra move to inspect them more closely and confirm that some stations are already filled, before Terra declares that it must be a split premiere.
I'm here for the gag of a split premiere, but I'm a little disgusted by some of the crap that the first 6 queens brought into this workroom. This one bitch, I swear I almost offered her wig a cup of water, it was beyond thirsty. And haven't these queens ever heard of a brush?
As the queens continue to chat, Terra wonders aloud if anyone else will be joining them. Suddenly, the workroom siren blares and Pegasus's face appears on the monitor.
My queens, I'm so glad the rest of you finally decided to show up. Now, I trust that you're all smart enough to have figured out that you aren't the first queens to compete this season. Yes, 6 queens have already made their debut, and don't you worry, you'll be meeting them soon enough. But right now, why don't we all have a little fun? To break the ice, we're going to play a memory matching game. You'll each be shown a series of 4 patterns, and whoever can remember the most details wins.
Terra won the mini-challenge.
I definitely feel like I'm starting out on the right foot in this competition. Once I snag a maxi challenge win, then everyone will know that I'm here to stay.
Ladies, after your new drag sisters wowed me with their girl group performance last week, I think I'm in the mood for a good old-fashioned bitch track. For your first main challenge, you're all going to write verses and choreograph a girl group routine to Toon World Studios' newest hit, I'm That Toon. This challenge is quintessential drag race and a chance to make sure that your run on the season is unforgettable. Don't waste this opportunity, ladies. You don't know when you'll get it again. See you all on the main stage.
The queens look around the room as the workroom monitor blinks off, chatting for a bit about the group choreography before splitting up to work on their verses. As Deoxys is unpacking his workstation, he is approached by Terra and Quasimodo, both of whom further praise his entrance look before Quasimodo asks if they can work on their lyrics alongside him. Deoxys says that he doesn't mind and would honestly appreciate any advice they could offer because he wants to make sure his verse measures up to the standard that Pegasus has set for the season. Quasimodo nods his head and states that he'd be happy to give Deoxys feedback on his lyrics before Terra takes out her notebook and starts to jot down a few ideas.
I've written lyrics before, but when the host of the franchise flat out says that this is the kind of bop that most queens dream of performing, you really need to turn it out. I have no intention of disappointing anyone this week.
As the 3 begin to write their verses, Deoxys turns to Quasimodo and states that he's surprised to see him competing, considering that he didn't seem very excited to be on camera during Esmeralda's press work following last season. Quasimodo shrugs and replies that he initially wasn't interested in being on Cartoon Drag Race because he had a comfortable career designing for several local queens. He only changed his mind after seeing the love that Esmeralda received on her season, which motivated him to throw his hat in the ring for Toon World.
I've always been someone who worked behind the scenes to make things happen versus being the star of the show. While I've never been unhappy with that role, I decided it was time for a change of pace. And no, I don't just mean having a Notre Dame queen actually win a challenge. Oh, please don't put that in the episode.
Quasimodo shares a little more context about his background with Esmeralda and the other queens in their drag family before turning the question to Terra, stating that he's surprised to see her on this season over Starfire, especially after Raven's run. Terra replies that she was gagged to get the call from Pegasus, largely because she's been estranged from Raven and the other Titans aside from Beast Boy for several years despite still performing in Jump City, so she doubts that Raven put in a good word for her. Deoxys asks about Terra's issues with Raven and the Titans, but Terra replies that it's a long story and she would really rather focus on the challenge, which the other two queens respect.
I've come to terms with everything that went down with the Titans, and I want my time on this season to be about me, not my past. I'm confident in my verse and my runway, and I intend to get my first of many wins tonight.
Terra continues working on her verse and provides a few notes to Quasimodo and Deoxys as well. Looking over Deoxys's lyrics, she asks how long he's been doing drag and what the experience has been like for him. Deoxys replies that he's been doing drag for over a decade, performing and designing looks for different queens across Hoenn. Quasimodo asks Deoxys more about his entrance look and his personal influences, and Deoxys responds that a lot of his drag is inspired by runway models, like Naomi Campbell, Linda Evangelista, Charlene Harlow, and Yasmin Gori, but with an alien, futuristic twist.
I grew up watching these gorgeous women stomp the runway in stunning outfits by Gaultier, McQueen, Versace, and countless other designers. I built my drag around those women and put my own twist on it. I'm the runway queen of the future, if you will.
Terra, Deoxys, and Quasimodo continue working alongside one another, and Deoxys thanks Quasimodo for helping him get on track with his lyrics. Quasimodo replies that it was no problem, adding that Deoxys already had a solid outline so giving him feedback was easy. Terra praises Quasimodo for helping Deoxys while also composing a strong verse himself, and Quasimodo returns the compliment, noting that she wrote a killer verse in under 2 hours. The three continue to chat and bond as they prepare for the main challenge. Ventress begins to work on her verse for the challenge and is quickly approached by Rogue and Aku, who ask what she thinks about the drag that the first 6 queens left at their stations. Ventress laughs as Aku and Rogue sit across from her, and replies without looking up from her paper that clearly Pegasus was smart enough to start the season with the worst queens and end the premiere with the best.
I'm just sitting here and staring at a mishmash of garbage drag as far as the eye can see. Red plastic rhinestone crap, blue plastic rhinestone crap, pink plastic rhinestone crap. It's so visually offensive that I'm worried we might get cancelled.
The trio falls into a steady rhythm, and Ventress asks Aku about his drag scene and his thoughts on the other queens, noting that he's been a little quiet compared to the rest of the group. Aku replies that he's just trying to focus on the first challenge and go from there, but adds that he likes everyone he's met so far. Rogue laughs, stating that while she can respect a pageant answer, she was dying to know how he really felt.
I don't know what Rogue is trying to get out of me, and I don't really care. I'm focused on writing my verse and figuring out how to nail this choreography. If she and Ventress want to bitch about the others, then more power to them.
Aku falls silent and redirects his focus to his lyrics. Meanwhile, Ventress and Rogue continue to chat and seem to develop a quick rapport.
Ventress isn't the usual type of queen that I'd hang around with. She actually looks a bit like the villains I fight back home. But she's funny, and I think her drag really stands out compared to everyone else in the room. Well, aside from me, of course.
Ventress asks Rogue about her drag scene and how she feels about Storm and Emma Frost's performances on their respective cartoon drag race runs. Rogue replies that she applied after watching Emma's depressing run on season 11, adding that she hopes she can carve out a place for Marvel drag to shine in Toon World. Ventress states that she feels the same about her own drag scene, noting that Star Wars drag had a difficult time finding a foothold on Cartoon Drag Race or any of the international franchises before Toon World. And after Padme's run, Ventress and the rest of her drag family were worried that Pegasus wouldn't ask another Star Wars queen to compete on Season 2.
Star Wars drag is much grittier and more interesting than anyone got to see last season. We deserve to be one of the staple drag families on Toon World, and everyone will understand exactly what I mean once I bring home this crown.
Aku shares that he feels the same way, as his drag family was mostly forgotten when newer and more popular social media queens came onto the scene. He adds that he hopes to use his time on the season to remind the drag world as a whole who the Bandicoots are, and how they paved the way for so many of the iconic cartoon queens that we know today.
We served video game excellence before the Coopers, Jack, Daxter, and so many modern queens who pay our legacy dust. I'm here to stand up for my ballroom family and show everyone that we aren't going to be forgotten.
The queens exchange grateful glances before returning to their work, eager to finalize their verses before the main challenge. Quasimodo had a great performance.
The judges' eyes were locked on me from the moment that I stepped onto that stage. I had the strongest verse, the cleanest choreography, and I showed the world that I know how to put on a show. Hopefully, tonight marks the first of many wins for me this season.
Deoxys, Rogue, Asajj Ventress, Aku, and Terra had a good performance.
I feel like I had the strongest verse, but I was also really surprised to see how hard Quasimodo, Terra, and Aku turned this challenge out. I think the whole group had a really strong showing, so regardless of who is in that first batch of queens, I know we're going to be fierce competition.
My gymnastics and combat training really allowed me to excel in the choreography, but I could tell from Pegasus's face that he didn't enjoy my verse. His grimace actually reminds me a lot of my drag mother, Dooku, which is worrying.
I'm a little worried that I didn't stand out as much as I could have in the girl group. The judges didn't seem outright bored by anything I did, and I know that I didn't drop any choreo, but I still feel like I could have given a bit more. Hopefully my runway is enough to get their attention.
Welcome to the main stage of Cartoon Drag Race Toon World Season 2. Allow me to introduce our stunning panel of judges. First, she's our resident judge and the mother of Toon World. It's My Valentine. Next, we have our special guest judge, the melodious diva herself. It's Zuzu Boyle. Tonight, we asked our queens to write lyrics and choreograph a routine to Toon World's latest and greatest bitch track, I'm That Toon. And on the runway, category is Anna Wintour is coming. Zuzu darling, thank you so much for joining us. I just have to ask, after watching tonight's performance, will you be calling any of our Season 2 divas to join your girl group?
Absolutely not. I would gladly give any of them a front row ticket to our next show, though.
It's more than she offered me when I asked to join.
Aku and Rogue slayed the runway.
Tonight I'm serving you Lannister lion and high fashion. I've painted my face in a golden sheen, decked myself out in these massive gold rubies and emeralds, and I have a massive lion's mane around my entire neck and head. I look like the Lord of Casterly Rock and the richest bitch on this runway, and I just know the judges loved it.
I'm strutting down the runway as the only mother of dragons, the Khaleesi herself. I've got on my colored contacts. I have 2 gorgeous metal dragons attached to my shoulders, and one around my waist. Then, I press a button on my hip, and guess what, bitch? They start breathing fire. For a moment, my outfit is in flames, and I look almost naked before I pull down the scorched fabric and reveal a jet black, beaded gown. You know I'm the one and only queen.
Terra had a great runway.
For this runway, I decided to embody a different kind of elegance, and I based my look around the iconic children of the forest. Elven drag is not something I usually wear, but I wanted to push myself outside of my comfort zone. I've got ear prosthetics and skin prosthetics to give my whole body an earthy, ethereal appearance. I've woven an army of different jewels and flowers into the horned crown atop my head. I'm fully giving Goddess of Nature tease, and I know the judges adored it.
Quasimodo, Deoxys, and Asajj Ventress had a good runway.
Tonight, I'm serving you traditional Westerosi Kingsguard realness. I've got a gorgeous crafted suit of armor that I made myself, a bejeweled longsword, and you just know that I'll slay any mad king who gets in my way.
For this runway, I decided to embody sea glamour. I'm serving you Greyjoy, Ironborn god of the sea realness. I'm wearing a long cloak beneath a fitted bodysuit. My makeup is the epitome of rugged meets forlorn, and I'm making sure that every damn stride on this runway counts.
My look is a testament to the high glamour and gore of the faceless men. There's such a wicked beauty to those assassins with their dark magic, and the judges were gagged by my face reveal trick. I made a strong impression, and I could see that in particular, was very impressed.
Ladies, it's time for you to hear our critiques. Terra, please step forward, and please start us off.
Terra, there isn't anything that I can outright critique about your performance. Your moves were clean, your verse was fine, and you kept up with everyone else in the choreo. My only note to you is that you didn't stand out. You need to find a way to distinguish yourself from your fellow queens in a group challenge, especially if you want us to notice you. As for your runway, now this is the sort of thing that you wear if you want to get noticed. I love the ethereal nature of the garment, and I think it speaks highly of your taste level.
The real challenge in a girl group is figuring out how to shine on your own, without pulling focus in a negative way. You didn't do bad tonight, Terra, and your runway is very pretty. My only note is to focus on yourself a bit more, and remember that you need to find ways to capture our attention in these sorts of challenges.
As someone who participates in a real drag girl group, you are the kind of queen that is invaluable to have on stage. You were a key player in setting up most of the stunts and other group choreo. You knew where you needed to be at every stage of the routine, and you helped everything run smoothly. That's a great quality, but remember that this is a competition and you need to make an impression apart from the group.
All right, Quasimodo, please step forward.
Quasi, you really surprised me with how well you did in this challenge. We know you come from a family of drag performers, but it was amazing to see how much you shined with this choreography. Your movements were fast, you had the strongest singing voice in the group, and you made the most of every second you had on stage. Fantastic job tonight.
I think you did a great job in the challenge, but I want to give you a little feedback on your runway garment. Metal is a difficult material to work with for most runway categories, and while I appreciate the ambition, the actual armor is a bit lacking. It's dented in spots, the coloring on the plate is patchy, and overall it just needs more polishing.
You were definitely the Beyoncé in this girl group. You had my attention from the moment that you walked on stage. You were confident in everything that you did in your performance, and I was very impressed. While I agree that your runway has some room for improvement, I respect that you tried to do something different from everyone else. Nice job tonight.
Ventress, please step forward.
Ventress, although you were immaculate with your choreography tonight, your verse and overall performance were lacking somewhat for me. It felt like you made the least of your time compared to everyone else, and you didn't have a lot of synergy with the rest of the group. As for your runway, while I live for the shock of the face reveal, the actual look falls apart the second that I look more closely. Your shape is lost in the garment, the fabric is a little basic, and I was honestly expecting more from you this week.
I think Mai hit the nail on the head with her critique. If this was a choreography challenge, then you'd likely be in the top, but your energy and face were giving 50%. It's not even that you were bad, you just fell into the trap of being unmemorable, and I think the same can be said for your runway. Your mug is stamped, but it feels like you didn't take any risks with your outfit. I want more.
My biggest note is that, in a girl group, collaboration is key if you want to have a successful performance. There were moments where it seemed like you were competing against your sisters versus trying to perform in a cohesive group, which brought down the other queens and the overall performance. Standing out is important, but you can't focus on yourself so exclusively that it hurts the group.
Deoxys, please step forward.
Deoxys, tonight you brought a strangeness to your lyrics and movements that really helped you stand out from the pack in a significant way. It was clear as day that you aren't a choreography queen, but you still made it work. On the runway tonight, I live for your presentation, but this pirate glamour look is missing the glamour for me. I wish you had more jewelry, I wish the garment was more pronounced, and I really just wanted more of a statement from your starting piece in this competition.
I expected a bit more from you on the runway, but I still like the garment. You told a strong story as you presented this look, and I like that you're serving us an avant-garde silhouette. However, if you're going to start out with such a big statement, then it needs to be perfect. I can see the vision, but your execution missed the mark tonight.
I really want to highlight your performance in the girl group. Out of everyone, you found the best balance between choosing moments to work with the group and claiming your spotlight. You were central to a lot of the bigger tricks going off without a hitch. You put your own spin on the choreography, and I think you were very smart in the challenge.
Rogue, please step forward.
Rogue, I think your performance got you off to a bit of a slow start in this competition. You struggled the most with the choreography, and I could see you looking at Quasimodo and Terra to try and catch up when you forgot a step in the routine. I want to give you some praise for this runway, however. You really look like the mother of dragons. I love the reveal. I love the way that you utilize the dragon prosthetics. It's all well thought out and very smart.
Your drag house is full of iconic performers who have slayed challenges like this in the main cartoon Drag Race franchise. I expected to see you shine and was more than a little surprised when you struggled more than your sisters. Although you were the weakest in the choreography, I want to give you high praise for this runway. For me, it's the look of the night.
One of the cardinal sins in any girl group is taking center stage for the choreography when you don't know a beat of it. You were a step behind from the moment the challenge started, and your verse was so unoriginal that it sounded like something written by Drag Race ChatGPT. The runway is a total slay, but it doesn't change the fact that you were the weakest in the group.
And to round us off for the night, Aku, please step forward.
Aku, you brought such a strong energy to your performance tonight. I like that you incorporated your ballroom style into the choreography to help you stand out from the rest of the queens, and this runway is a total serve as well. I was impressed by everything I saw from you tonight, and I can't wait to see what you do for next week's challenge.
We really saw you come alive as a performer in this challenge. You have a campy and slightly kooky energy that worked in your favor when you leaned on it in the choreography. However, I want to warn you not to make that aspect of your drag a crutch in every challenge, because the same shtick can get old very quickly. That said, I was impressed tonight and want to see more.
You came across as a professional in the challenge, and I think you had my favorite runway look of the night. Golden Lannister elegance is exactly what I would do if I was serving up Game of Thrones glamour, and I appreciate the lion-esque twist to your entire look. The garment works, your makeup is stunning, and you really grabbed my attention tonight.
Ladies, now that we've chatted amongst ourselves and you've heard the judges' critiques, here are your placements for the week. Deoxys, Quasimodo, tonight you were the two hottest bitches on the track. No one is going home, and congratulations, you are the top two of the week. Everyone else may go untucked backstage while you prepare to lip sync for the win. Ladies, before we begin, I'd like to announce that the winner of this lip sync will receive a cash tip of $5,000, paid for by me, because I have money.
Being in the top on the first episode is more than I ever thought possible. This lip sync song is a bit outside my wheelhouse, but I'm going to put my all into the performance and show everyone just what I can do.
I'm a little gagged to be in the top this week, and judging by a few of my new sisters' faces, I'm not the only one. I'm going to turn this lip sync out so I can drown those bitches with this cash tip. Trust.
The lip sync song is Good Ones by Charlie XCX. Deoxys had a good lip sync. Quasimodo flopped the lip sync.
Ladies, I have made my decision. Deoxys, you're a winner, baby. Quasimodo, you are safe to slay another day.
This is untucked.
The queens congratulate Quasimodo and Deoxys for being the top two of the week and Deoxys for winning the lip sync. Both queens thank the group. Ventress, Aku, and Rogue chat amongst themselves, and Rogue says it's bullshit that Deoxys and Quasimodo were in the top this week. Ventress quickly agrees, and Rogue laughs, insisting that they were both superior to Deoxys on the runway. Ventress directs a sideways glance at Aku and asks how he feels about Deoxys placing in the top over the three of them. Aku only bods his head, stating that he did well and has no problem with how Deoxys or anyone else placed. He adds that it's only their first week in the competition, so why would he get worked up so early on? His comment gives Rogue and Ventress pause, and they both stare at Aku as he finishes his cocktail. Terra, Quasimodo, and Deoxys all clink their cocktails together and cheer for being in the top this week before Quasimodo praises Deoxys for his lip sync. After a moment, he remarks that Esmeralda will never let him live down his performance. Terra laughs, stating that it will hopefully be a long time before Quasimodo has to redeem himself in a lip sync, and Quasimodo blushes, admitting that he expected Terra to be in the top two instead of him for her runway look. Deoxys says that he's just glad everyone got the chance to stay another week and is eager to meet the rest of the cast so the real competition can begin. The three queens continue to chat and bond, and Terra and Deoxys seem to grow particularly close.
Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoy our content. Now remember, be proud, feel free, and live your life. Always.